that everybody's under a tornado watch until 7 o'clock tonight. So Leesburg, Loudoun County, Frederick County, points south and east. But then these are the bright reds, and those are the tornado warnings right now. Extreme southern Prince George's County and a good chunk of Charles County.
And Topper, for people at home watching, when they hear watch versus warning, can you distinguish the two?
Yeah, we can. I mean, we talk about this, and this goes for anything, really. A watch just means, hey, it's favorable. These storms could produce tornadoes. Be prepared. Stay alert. And also have a plan. But when there's a warning, it's occurring. And that's when you need to take action and you need to implement that plan. You don't really have time to make a plan. You need to get the family together and say, here's where we're going to go. Here's where we're going to meet. Here's what we're going to do if we see a tornado warning. So warning, it's happening. Watch, it is possible. And, you know, as Chester was mentioning, the best place to go, obviously, is away from windows, okay, and into an interior room, bathroom, stairs. If you have, a basement, that's even better. And yes, it sounds silly covering yourself with a blanket or a mattress, but it can protect you, especially inside a bathtub. We have seen that time and time again with tornadoes out in the Midwest. Basement is the best place.
All right, Topper,
obviously.
We're telling people in King George, Prince George's County, and Charles County to take cover right now because of this tornado warning. So how long should you stay in this interior room or this basement if you're taking cover right now?
Until the warning is expired or until we give you the go-ahead, the all clear.
Okay.
And these are, watches cover a broad area for several hours. Warnings cover a very specific area for anywhere between a half an hour to 45 minutes. So if you're in this area and we say there's a warning till 1:45, just plan on being there till 1:45 unless we say, hey, it's been canceled, the threat is over.
Okay.
And I do want to mention that, while we're talking about, Prince George's County and Charles County, I do want to say that, you folks outside of this warning area up in Upper Marlboro also have to think, oh, this is coming our way. It's moving northeast. We're not in a warning yet, but we could be. So it's time to also try to, take cover and get ready for it and don't wait for the warning to occur. That's why I always say, geography is important. Know who is south and west of you because most of the tornadoes move northeastward and most occur between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. So we're kind of in that zone.
Getting close, yeah, we are. So we've got 2 tornado warnings if we want to go over that stuff again. And I'll switch over back here to this source. So this is the wide view. We've got this tornado warning, King George County, this one getting into Charles and Prince George's County. So we'll go in a little bit closer here, and I'm going to track this storm here, the one getting in towards the Dahlgren area. The storm is moving north and east of Port Royal at this time, and that tornado warning is until 1:30, so another, where are we at now, 12 minutes or so. And then we've got the other tornado warning that covers Prince George's and Charles County. So let me show you the track here on this one first. It's going to be into the Dahlgren area at 1:30 and eventually towards Morgantown at 1:36. And then this storm here is until 1:45, and I've circled that area where that hook is, and you can kind of see it almost right in the middle of that circle. There's a bit of a hook there. That is a hook echo, we call it, and it's indicative of a supercell. They don't show up super often around here, so it is interesting to see how that's developed there. And I've put on a track to show you where that is headed to next. So if you live near the Regency Stadium, or if you live near St. Peter's School, Cedarville School, or the towns of Malcolm, and I believe that's Orme, just go ahead and take cover right now. Get into that basement or lower level, as Topper was talking about, or that interior room. If you live in a mobile home, we always have to remind folks here, you're not safe there in a tornado or a severe weather situation. You want to find a sturdy building. So find a sturdy building near you. Do not remain in a mobile home. Those are incredibly dangerous in tornadic situations. Again, Prince George's, Charles County, this warning is until 1:45, and if I extrapolate a little bit, as Topper was mentioning, Upper Marlboro, down through the Rosaryville area, you want to keep an eye on this storm as it continues to make a beeline to the northeast because it's in line to move your way. I'm going to move the radar back down. You can see that hook I was telling you about earlier.
Yeah.
That's the pronounced hook that we're seeing there. And that's also where the velocity signature I was looking at the other map, which is showing you the winds. You're getting a spin here, and that spin showing that there's rotation in that thunderstorm. So that's what we're watching right now with that tornado warning again till 1:45 Charles and Prince George's County. Topper, what you got?
Okay, so yeah, we don't see that too often, but that is a pretty good we call hook echo there. And so yeah, you need to pay attention if you're inside the warning area, but also if you're north and west, or north and east rather. So here's the tornado watch. It covers Loudoun County, Frederick County, and points south and east, and that goes tonight until 7 o'clock. The bright reds that you see here, King George and Prince George's County and Charles County, those are warnings. It means it's happening right now. So here's the big radar. Heavy rains continue west of town. All the severe weather now sparking up on the east side of 95 across the river into southern Maryland. And again, even if these aren't tornadic, they are going to be severe. So what does that mean? Well, you could have flash flooding. You could have winds up to 60 miles per hour. So it kind of becomes moot whether the 60-mile-per-hour wind is generated by a tornado or just a straight line wind. Damage is essentially the same. So here are the warnings. Tornado warning for King George until 1:30, and then we go up here, and that is a tornado warning for Charles and southern Prince George's County until 1:45. Let's focus on this. Here's that hook echo, the hook area that Chester was talking about, and don't want to be anywhere near Route 5 right now. We'll zoom in a little bit. That's just a mess. And if you're up toward 381, it's heading your way. It's headed toward Brandywine. It's headed up to the north and the east. But look at the heavy rains through much of Malcolm and down toward Poplar Hill Road and also over toward Woodland Road. And this is just going to get heavier as it moves northeastward, right through the polygon. Now, where's it going? Upper Marlboro, 139. So you're not under a warning yet. You're under a tornado watch, which means conditions are favorable, but you need to go, okay, that's down to my south and west. I better pay attention here. I better maybe secure some loose objects, maybe have some loose chairs or small chairs out on the deck or patio. Just bring them inside. We have what do we have? Traffic camera in the area. Where are we? Route 5? 301. Okay, 301 and 5, yes. So that's not crazy bad right now. It shows some rain. It's not that dark, so that's good news. I think that is a little bit to the west of this particular storm, but still, roads are wet, and you got to still be careful just with that as we go through the evening hours. So Upper Marlboro, please, 1:39 arrival time there. As we mentioned earlier, yes, we're going to harp on this, but we're going to also harp on turn around, no, don't drown. We always show you a video of a car stuck in the water. So we're going to just hammer this home. Interior room, interior hallway, away from windows, away from anything that could produce flying debris. So cover yourself with a blanket or a mattress for protection. Now, if you have a basement, that's the best place to go, but some basements are walkout. Don't go near the windows or doors down there either. You're better off down there, yes, but if you can, get to a part of the basement that is away from the windows and doors. Here's that tornado threat index, and by 2:30, it's shifting a little bit to the north and the east, sort of in between Baltimore and D.C. By 4 o'clock, it's almost through the metro, exiting Anne Arundel County and going across the bay. So the tornado watch goes until 7, but we really feel that the threat is going to be out of here by about 4 o'clock. Now, the flooding will continue. The flooding risk, anyway, will continue. Look what happens to our friends out toward Dover in southern New Jersey, and that's by 5:30 for the threat index. So it leaves us alone a little early, a little ahead of schedule. We kind of backed up the timing last night at 11, and we backed it up a little bit more today. So where are things going? This is 3 o'clock. We still have heavy rain, Frederick to Hagerstown. We're talking rainfall rates of 2 inches per hour. It is a very tropical air mass, and we have big storms D.C. and also south of town. So as we mentioned, the bullseye of heavy rains north and west of town, but everybody is under the threat for tornadoes and flooding. Okay? By the time we get to 4 o'clock, we have heavy rains, Montgomery County, Howard County, back into Prince George's County, and that is 4 o'clock with big-time rains up toward Baltimore. Don't want to be on 95. I said this yesterday. If you can be off the roads by 1 o'clock, try to stay off the roads. By 5 o'clock, it's better, okay? The heavy activity is now across the bay, but we still have some moderate to heavy activity back toward Hagerstown. This is more just heavy rain, not so much for severe storms, but it will add insult to injury on areas that have already received 3 inches of rain. So
Hey, Topper, if you can you show us a live look at the radar at what people are seeing in the Hagerstown area right now? Because we're going to go to our Matthew Torres, and I want to get some sense of what you're seeing and how his.
I can stand by. So there's the watch. Now, Hagerstown, you're not under the tornado watch. You're under the flash flood watch. So here's the radar, and it's just to the north up into Frederick. So in between Frederick and Leesburg and Hagerstown, we've got some big-time rains going on.
Yeah, not looking good there. All right, let's go to our Matthew Torres now with a closer look at what's happening there. Okay, live TV. We don't have that yet, so we'll get to him in just a minute. In the meantime, Topper, show us what you're seeing right now.
So now we have a new one. This is a new tornado warning for Charles and King George until 2 o'clock.
Yep, and if I can interrupt you
yes,
there.
Go.
So you have the latest information there, Topper. This storm is located near Colonial Beach. It is moving northeast at 20. It's the same storm that was warned on for King George over the last few minutes. So it's a new warning. And that storm cell, it really is right. It's almost due south of Dahlgren. That's where the signature is for the tornado. And the rotation is looking well defined, by the way, Topper, on the what I'm looking at the velocity here.
Okay, so if you're in this area now, this is a new warning, and it is also moving to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour. As Chester mentioned, it is near Colonial Beach. It's radar indicated, but it has some good signatures, has some good potential, if you will. So we have the warning there. That goes until 1:45, and then we have the new warning down to the south until 2 o'clock, and that's King George and Charles County. So these are going to be kind of fast and furious as we go through the afternoon. So we want you to, take cover if we tell you there's a warning, and most of the metro is under a tornado watch. That hasn't changed. That's going to go till 7. They'll probably trim it down or trim it back as we get through the evening hours. But this is the tornado warning for Charles and Prince George's until 1:45. Heavy rain, flash flooding, gusty winds, and a possible tornado. So heaviest rain now, Poplar Hill Road, Byrontown, and also Gallant Green Road as well. But this is going to push to the north. Rainfall rates here a little over 2 inches per hour. So that's big time. That will cause some flash flooding. Headed toward Upper Marlboro at about 1:39. So you're not in the warning just yet, Upper Marlboro and Rosaryville, but you could be. You probably will either be in a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning in the next half an hour. Zoe.
Yeah, all right. Now I want to get to our Matthew Torres in Hagerstown. Let's check this out.
Yeah, the rain here has really just been picking up within the last few minutes. It only just takes a few seconds to be outside, to be completely drenched. As you can tell, we had to take out the rain pants as the water is now flowing here down the street. We were just outside of the downtown area of Hagerstown. Obviously, the rain has been consistently pouring down here. And so overall, we are starting to hear reports of some flooding. And so we're trying to gauge a better understanding of how bad the problem might be. But with how consistent the rain has been, regardless, it seems like with areas that are prone to flooding, that it's certainly going to take place. There is one underpass that is now being blocked on West Memorial Boulevard because it's where drivers tend to frequently get themselves stuck in the water. And so as a precautionary measure, the city has blocked that particular area. But no doubt it's really just people scurrying around, avoiding getting wet. But it's so hard, especially with how hard and how fast the rain has been coming down.
A good reminder there from Matt in Hagerstown, Chester, just taking these precautionary measures and, these flood-prone areas, making sure those are blocked off in advance. And he was telling us earlier, make sure you heed this warning. Don't go around those barriers. They have them up in place. We don't want to keep our first responders busy with unnecessary emergencies.
Yeah, definitely a good idea to please just stay home if you can and avoid travel if you can. And then if not, turn around, don't drown. Do not drive around these barriers. You're not a superhero. There's no reason for you to go through these flooded roadways. We've seen it time and time again. People, they get a little arrogant. They don't realize that this is literally a life-threatening situation. And we have multiple flood warnings, these green colors here, across parts of the Shenandoah, out in the Hagerstown, and then out in the Cumberland area and down through Paw Paw as well. Again, we have the flood watch for the entire area 2 to 4 inches of rain in the forecast here. Then there's the tornado watch until 7. We've got this warning here until 1:45. Parts of Charles County and southern Prince George's County, and then this warning here in King George County and parts of Charles County until 2 o'clock. That one was just issued. So this part of the line is where the severe signatures have been. These have just been heavy rainers, but we'll keep an eye on any of these storms as they move into Metro Washington. Looks like rain is getting into the Metro right now, but we want to concentrate on this storm here in the Dahlgren area, just west of Colonial Beach and getting into Dahlgren again. We've got 2 warnings. This one expires at 1:30, covers much of King George, the rest of King George County, and a sliver of Charles County until 2 o'clock. I put a track on it so you can see what's happening with this storm as it moves to the north and east. And again, it's going through the Hose area, Barnesfield Park, and Crane Memorial Park, and through Newburgh. That includes Dahlgren and the Naval Station there over the next few minutes. Again, the signature.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm just making a new graphic here. So let's kind of reset, if you will. Can we go back to, let's go back to, are we on one now? Yeah, we're on one now. Okay, so here's the deal. So the watch continues for Loudoun County, Prince William County, Fauquier County, and points south and east. All right, so that goes until 7 o'clock. And then the bright yellows that you see here, that means that there's actually a tornado warning in effect, as we mentioned, for parts of Charles County and Prince George's County. And we're going to see these little tornadoes, spin up, and they will continue to do this until probably 3 o'clock or so. It looks like, I'd say 3 o'clock or so. So we'll zoom in. So that goes until 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And then now we've got the warnings to the down to the south.
King George. And then parts of Charles County as well. And then we've got your radar up here on the band.
Okay.
And so we've got these storms. This one is the one that has the hook echo on it, moving into Prince George's County, and then another one moving towards the Dahlgren Colonial Beach area there, topper, that we've been tracking over the last several minutes.
So there's one down toward Charles County and Prince George's County, and that's, as you mentioned, the signature was pretty impressive with that. So that's, it could be a very small tornado, but just take cover. Yeah, and it's essentially around 381, and it will continue. The warning goes to 145. We'll see if this is extended. This is not working for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. All right. So there's the track. Okay. So it's headed northeast at about 25 miles an hour. So if you are in any of these cities, Upper Marlboro, Leland, begin to sort of take cover and maybe some precaution, if you will. So even into Queen Anne and around the Bowie Bay Sox area, around 202. So this is moving northeast. Is it going to continue to be tornadic? Maybe. If not, it's still going to be a big storm, capable of producing strong winds and damage. So let's talk about the tornado sheltering again. Lowest level of your home, basement is best, interior room away from windows, duck and cover. Protect your head and your neck from flying debris, because that is the #1 issue with injuries in tornadoes. This little weather clicker, not a problem. This is driven at 60 miles per hour, it's a problem. So cover yourself, get away from the windows. All right, so here's the tornado threat index again. This is 230, and it's moving north of D.C. The highest chance will be up toward Baltimore. And then by 4 o'clock, it's about to roll across the bay. Now it's in Arundel County. But notice back to the west, D.C., Prince George's, Charles, and even back into Loudoun County, it's gone. So that's why we feel the threat of tornadoes are going to get out of here in the next 2.5 hours, or hour and a half to 2 hours.
So Topper, why do we have the watch until 7?
Well, I've been in seminars where you have to decide who's under a watch and who's not. Right. You're going to err on the side of caution.
Okay.
And what they're going to do is they're going to trim that watch back as the threat pushes eastward, which is a relatively new thing. They didn't do that 20 years ago. So that's what you want to do. It's better to go, wide and then focus in as we go through the evening hours. By 7 o'clock, all the highest chance of a tornado will be up into places like southern Jersey.
Topper, I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Go.
We just got a new tornado warning. And that is for St. Mary's and Charles County until 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And that is, again, radar indicated tornado or possible tornado with that severe storm, the same one we've been tracking that's been coming out of King George County there. And I've got you see it on your screen, and I've got a track on that showing that storm moving through Dahlgren and right on up through Morgantown in Maryland, Shiloh, Allen's Fresh, Newport, and hopefully I'm not mispronouncing this.
Wicomico. Yes, this is moving at 35.
Yeah, a little bit speedier there.
A little bit speedier, and as you mentioned, it is near Dahlgren right now. So if you're anywhere in Charles County or southern Prince George's County, I think I would just be on the lookout for tornadoes. I really would. So we're looking at this is going to continue at least for another hour and a half with little tornadoes kind of spinning up. Now,
yeah, and if we have this tornado, if it's on the ground, it would be right in between Potomac Beach and Dahlgren. So let me zoom in just a little bit closer. We'll leave it up on your screen here, and I wanted to show you this area. So that's right off of Maryland 205. There's Colonial Beach there towards the bottom of your screen. Let me see if I can get rid of some of this clutter so you can kind of see a little bit better. But Colonial Beach and Dahlgren right there on your screen. You see Maryland Route 205. That is where the storm would be at this moment here. And the possible signature of the tornado is showing up there, the very bottom of that storm in this area here,
right. Okay.
As it moves off to the north and east.
Okay, all right. So if you're in this area or north and east of it, please take cover. Really, if you're anywhere in Charles County, I would take cover in southern Prince George's County. This is a pretty serious situation. And rainfall is heavy, although I think the main problem here is going to be the chance for some little tornadoes.
Little spin ups.
EF zeros, EF ones. They may not, they're not going to be like a La Plata thing, but they can cause some damage, and they can, throw your, unsecured, chair through your door or something like that.
Take some roofs off of houses.
Or throw your, oftentimes you'll see the basketball hoops that don't have enough sand in them.
Yeah.
They'll go over the side.
Trampolines.
Trampolines, yes, they're like sails. So that's very important just to kind of, keep that in mind and take it seriously. And okay, Zoe?
Yeah, I'm trying to get an understanding if our producer can tell me, are we going to an interview or do we have video?
Okay, while he's sorting that out, we also are looking at this tornado warning. I'm curious to see if they're going to expand it into Prince George's County. They chopped off most of Charles County, but you can see that warning's until 1:45, and that storm still has a decent signature of rotation on it, but I don't know if they're seeing something else that indicates that it may not be as serious as before. But if you live in the North Keys area or near Bald Eagle, right off of Maryland 382 there in Prince George's County, or just east of Brandywine. If you live east of Brandywine off of, what is that? I believe that's Keys Road. You want to get in your shelter right now if you live in those areas there, just because of that possible tornadic storm moving through your area right now. Again, moving to the north with a slight easterly jog at 35 miles per hour. This is a radar indication of rotation, which means there may be a tornado. It's right over the Baden area right now, and east of Brandywine, and south and west of Dunkirk, and south and east of Rosaryville. So kind of that area between there. So we'll continue to watch that at this moment.
Yeah, and I think we have some video right now from the Harry Nice Memorial Bridge. We're talking about that southern Maryland line, sort of in the area where these tornado warnings are. Yeah, 301. If we can get that live picture up right now, just to give you a sense of what it looks like there. And it's tough to make out here, but you can look at sort of the way that, it's a blur in the distance. So obviously the wind speeds are picking up there, and you still have this driver going over the bridge with the hazards on. But obviously, Topper Chester not looking good. Again, this is the Harry Nice Bridge, just off of along 301.
It's a big commuting route too. A lot of folks will commute that way, sometimes to get up to D.C. From King George County and areas to the south.
And it's a
so
haul.
Normally that would be clear, but this is sort of this monochromatic image here just gives you an idea of just how bad it is.
I wouldn't want to be on that bridge at this moment.
I was surprised to see anybody going over the bridge.
Don't want to be on the bridge. Don't want to try to outrun tornadoes in your car. You want to get to a secure shelter. So. And it's doesn't end well if you try to do that.
And one of those myths that are out there, Topper, I've heard a lot of people talk about this. You don't, a place that is not safe is an underpass. people
I know.
used to pull over.
Used to be.
Yeah,
Yes.
and now they're finding out that people can literally be sucked out from under those underpasses.
Yeah, you get the Berluti effect where it just takes the wind and funnels it, becomes even stronger.
Right.
And yes, that is the conventional wisdom has changed on that, as
a
it
good
has in
reminder.
lightning safety. Lightning safety, they would say lie flat. Now they say get on the balls of your feet.
Yeah.
You want a little as possible can contact with the ground with the lightning.
Yeah, during major storms, you often see people congregate.
Sure,
Near
absolutely.
these underpasses. So good
Yeah.
idea not to do
Not
that.
to do that. I'm going to run over the key for a second.
Okay.
Chester, I'll do a quick little show.
Yeah,
Let
so
you
you
reset some stuff here.
Reset that stuff, and I just want to point out that we still have those multiple warnings. There are literally 3 tornado warnings
Yeah.
for this area right now. Until 2 o'clock, King George and Charles, and that is covering that Dahlgren area up to Pope's Creek. We just showed you the bridge there on 301. That is in the tornado warning. Faulkner, Newport, if you live in those areas, you want to get in your shelter immediately. It is not safe to be outside. If you know anyone who's driving out here, if you know anyone who's outside, this is the time to get inside. Again, to your safe space, whether that's a basement or the interior room with as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Again, if you live in a mobile home, not a safe place to be. Topper?
Yeah, no doubt. So here is, Zoe was mentioning, well, why is it so far back to the west? We're going to probably see this trim back, but not for a couple of hours, though. Right now, it does include Frederick County and Loudoun County, Fauquier and Prince William County down toward Culpeper. And watch remembers, hey, things are, conditions are favorable for this to occur, in this case, a tornado. And then we'll zoom in a little bit and you see all the areas of bright red. Those are actual tornado warnings. That means it is occurring. So,
And it looks like they canceled that tornado warning for Charles.
yeah, they
and
did.
King
They just
George.
canceled. Yep. That's good. Okay, so here's the big radar. Still heavy rains. We're still talking about massive flooding between Frederick and Hagerstown and over toward Cumberland. That's over the past couple of hours, but these are the storms that have moved northeastward on the east side of 95 that they've become severe. We'll zoom in. So now we have this warning here, which is still in effect until 2 o'clock, another 20 minutes or so. So that's for part of Charles County and St. Mary's County. La Plata, you're not quite in it, but I would take cover. And then this is a little tiny warning, but I'll tell you what, this is essentially, I think this storm's out of this polygon now. I think it's up 382. So we may see this just next 4 minutes, just let it die, or we may see this extended. I think they would have extended it earlier if
Agreed.
it were, and not even a severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah,
So
I think they're going to let this one just
So that one's
expire.
probably just going to go by the wayside. That said, we have heavy rain up 382 south of Upper Marlboro. Rainfall rates there about 2 inches per hour. So heaviest rain right now in North Keys, Candy Hill Road, and Bald Eagle. And you guys are out of the tornado warning. And I think you folks down toward Ashbox and also down into 381. I think the risk of tornadoes is over for you right now, at least. We'll zoom back out. We'll track this. I mean, Croom High School, it could get up there, and it's still going to be a strong storm. That's at 146, 4 minutes from now. Patuxent Elementary School at 154, and Bayard at about 157 as it moves off to the north and the east at about 30 miles an hour. And we still have this tornado warning for Charles and St. Mary's County. That's a pretty big area. And 236, notice the lightning. Either side, 236. So maybe this is becoming a little more intense. We'll monitor that for lightning strikes as this moves northeastward as well, crossing over 5. So you're in Mechanicsville or La Plata, you should take cover, even though you're not in the warning area. But the best chance for this is up 301, kind of following this path right here, up toward 5, just to the west of Mechanicsville. So you should take cover. You should have done that already. So
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a water spout with that storm at this point, because it looks like the signature is right over the Potomac, or maybe just getting back on the land.
Yep, could be. Yep. And so, Oaks at 158, Hughesville maybe at 2 o'clock if it holds together. I think the storm will hold together. It may not be tornadic by, say, by 2 o'clock. So at 3 o'clock, we still have lots going on. All right, this is Futurecast. Still some heavy rain, Frederick, Hagerstown, down I-81 over toward Leesburg. We talked about that either side of I-81 corridor. That's where we were concerned about flooding. Now, to the east and south, on the other side of 95, a little better chance for showers and storms that contain tornadoes. By the time we get to 4 o'clock, we're still rocking and rolling with some heavy activity, especially north of town, and even some heavy activity now in northern Prince George's County, pushing toward Annapolis. So the evening commute's not going to be great, even if the heavy rain's gone. you're going to find roads closed. You're going to find some trees down here and there. By 5 p.m. tonight, okay, heavy activity north of Baltimore. Don't want to be driving from Baltimore up to Newark or even into Philadelphia. And then back to the west, we still have some moderate showers and storms, which is going to add insult to injury out here, and just light activity in green around the immediate metro. By 6 p.m., heavy activity pushing across the bay. Some of this little last gasp, if you will produce some heavy rain. We don't think we're going to see any tornadoes with these last line of storms. That's about 6 o'clock. By 6:30, they weaken a little bit. Again, heavy rain. I mean, even rainfall rates, just if this were to come to pass, would be 3/4, almost to an inch per hour. By 9 o'clock, this is just updated. This is a little more intense now at 9 o'clock into Howard County. We'll see if that comes to pass. I will say this model did a pretty good job on last night's storms, the overnight storms. So, tornado sheltering, yes, lowest level of your home. Basement is best. Interior room away from windows. Duck and cover. Protect your head and neck. Here's the index again. By 2:30, it's kind of pushing northeastward, which I agree with. By 4 o'clock, it's essentially in Anne Arundel County and then across into the Delmarva. Look what happens. It becomes enhanced over toward Dover and southern New Jersey, and that's by 5 o'clock. And then by 7 o'clock, we're in pretty good shape. That's why I think, looking at this tool, and this is not the end-all and be-all, but looking at this tool, I think that last line that rolls through between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. will have heavy rain, yes, and maybe some additional flooding. I don't think they're going to be tornadic, that last line, as really the conditions become less favorable. So we need to also concentrate on this. Okay, flash flood safety. Never drive across a flooded road. 6 inches of water can knock you off your feet. 12 inches can take care of the average car, and then 18 to 24 inches will move a truck. And as often as we show this, every time we see a car stuck in the water. And I don't really understand that, but we've had that time and time again. And if you're at night, you really don't know how fast the current's moving, how deep it is, and even if the road is still there. Sometimes the road will be washed out. Okay, we had a live picture down toward Patuxent River. Yep.
Ooh, that's a mess. Yeah. There's some gusty winds down there. Mm-hmm. And that's out ahead of the storms coming through, it looks like, right?
Yeah, it looks like they're moving out of the storm. Look at the waves, though. You see the wind. There's some wind down there, not crazy wind, but that's fairly active for that river. That's right now it doesn't look that crazy. It does not look that dark, which is good. But that's never a good sign because it just simply destabilizes the atmosphere a little bit. And I saw a little bit of sun around 12:30, 1 o'clock. So the watch continues, and this will probably continue. I think they'll start, chopping off maybe Frederick and Loudoun County, and maybe parts of Fauquier and Prince William County, probably around 5 o'clock or so. But certainly east of 95, that watch is going to probably hold until 6 o'clock at least. The watch goes until 7 o'clock unless they trim it off a little bit. So we got a flood warning again for Allegheny County. We've had numerous reports of flooding in Allegheny County and also Grant County and Mineral County in West Virginia. And, here's the reason why. Look at all the rain. I mean, they've been having heavy rain pretty much all night and through most of the day. Nothing really tornadic. That's more a little south and east. But, wow. I mean, tremendous rain still now, Frederick, Hagerstown. I mean, going up 270 right now is going to be really tough. It's going to improve going out I-66 in a little bit, and going down 95 will improve a little bit. Really, right now, you don't want to be south or east of town with the tornadic possibilities. So here are the warnings. Now, this is the warning that goes until 2 o'clock, and this is Charles County and St. Mary's County. This is a pretty big area, all right? So at Mechanicsville, you're sort of in the path of that. So see the lightning picking up a little bit around 2:36. This is now canceled. There's no warning in this area, but Upper Marlboro, you have heavy rain. Going up 4, you have heavy rain up to 422. Rainfall rates there about just a little bit under 2 inches per hour. Rain has moved out of Bald Eagle now in North Keys. Well, the heavy rain's moved out of Bald Eagle in North Keys, and it's moved up to the north, up past Cindy Hill Road. And this is still a pretty good storm as it moves off to the north and east. This is the warning again until 2 o'clock for Charles and St. Mary's County. If you're right in this area around 2:36, I would hopefully you're taking cover after all we've been talking about. We'll zoom in a little more, and this is moving toward Germantown and Hughesville as we go through, well, the next 12 minutes or so.
Hey,
I'd say
Topper.
12 minutes or so probably in Hughesville. Yeah.
Yeah, in these areas with tornado warnings right now, what kind of wind speeds are we talking about? How windy is it there?
These are not super strong
Okay.
tornadoes. They may be, EF zeros, maybe 60, 70.
Oh, okay.
You
I mean,
know.
that's still strong, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
if
still
you're-
strong, yeah. But, to put it in perspective, anything 58 miles per hour or over
Yeah.
is a severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay.
So,
Right on the line. Kind of.
right on the line. Maybe they get 1 to 80, but probably in the 65 to 75 range, which 74 is hurricane strength, so that's
Yeah.
kind of impressive. And with all the rain we've had, remember we had 9 inches of rain in August. That's the 9th wettest August downtown on record. Yes, amounts have varied as you go west and south of town. Dulles did not have 9 inches; they only had about 4 inches of rain. But still, for much of us in the metro, it was a very, very wet August, and we don't need more rain today and any kind of wind whatsoever. And I think, regardless of the tornadoes, I think we're going to still see some wind gusts of 20 to 30 miles per hour as the remnants pull through the metro. So that's what we're thinking about. Chester, you have anything on the velocity?
Yeah, I am still looking at that. There's still a pretty good rotating signature south and west of Charlotte Hall there, and almost due south with a slight easterly jog of La Plata. Okay, so that's where that
so
particular
down
storm
here.
that particular storm that we've been watching in Charles County with the warning until 2 o'clock. So if you live in these areas again. I would say right along I'm storm tracking here, showing you some of the roads here near Allen's Fresh, Newport Church Road, Penns Hill Road. You want to get in your shelter immediately. It is right on top of you. And then farther northeast towards Dentsville, Rogers Mill, and over towards Trinity Church Road, Dubois, and Grosstown. That is the area that is going to be next for this possible tornado. I'm going to put a little track on it so you can kind of see the timing on that. So I'm just looking at the radar velocity off screen, and it's showing, standby producer, it is showing that we've got the potential tornadic signature right by Allen's Fresh. So again, moving northeast at 35. If you live in these communities, Newport, Dentsville, Grosstown, you want to get in your shelter immediately as this storm is moving into your area. There's still a well-defined rotating signature, though the radar is coming back a little bit less strong. The reflectivity is not looking quite as strong, so maybe that's some sign of weakening. We're not sure yet. We're just going by what the National Weather Service warning is, and again, that is until 2 o'clock here as we continue to watch this storm move off to the northeast. That is in Charles County at this time. Lorenzo?
Yeah, a good reminder, too, for the folks who are maybe in some of these tornado watch areas, perhaps it's not as severe. If you can have our WUSA 9 app handy, or if you haven't done so yet, perhaps download it. And if you can, send us a picture, a video of what's happening in your neighborhood. We're getting them in our inbox right now. And a quick shout to Olivia Gaber from Arlington, who just sent us a video. We're going to try and work to get some of this turned around for you. But again, if you can, if it's safe, please just send us a picture or video of what it's like in your neighborhood. That helps us back here as well to get a sense of what's happening across our region. Gentlemen.
All right, so again, we're still watching this potential tornadic storm that is moving through Charles County. This warning goes for a few more minutes here until 2 o'clock. And again, this would cover the areas just south and east of La Plata. So La Plata, though you are at the edge of the warning, I wouldn't worry at this point other than the fact that you have a downpour and a strong storm nearby. But in that area of south and west of Charlotte Hall and south of Bryantown and southeast of La Plata, that's where that possible tornadic signature is in the storm. And I've got that track on the screen for you so you can kind of see where this storm is headed next. Again, the tornado warning till 2 o'clock, so a few more minutes. Bear with us here, and hopefully, I mean, I'm not optimistic, but hopefully this is the last warning of the day. But yeah,
Ooh,
with
you
this
said that out
atmosphere-
loud, didn't
yeah,
you?
well, I'm
You
not
said it out loud.
I'm not superstitious, but
Okay.
let's hope that the storms do relax a little bit in our area. But if you live in Sunny Meadow, Dentsville, near Gilbert Run Regional Park, right there on Oliver's Shop Road, Penns Hill, you want to get into your shelter immediately. As you can see here, we've got this potential tornadic storm moving through Charles County, right off of Route 234, and east of U.S. Route 301 there. So it's in that area there before you get to Maryland Route 6. In between there along Penns Hill Road, that is where the signature is for rotation that is indicative of a supercell thunderstorm that may be producing a tornado. Lorenzo?
All right, thank you, Chester. We have Tyrone Wells on the phone now with Prince George's County's Emergency Operations Center. Mr. Wells, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well.
All right, thank you for being here with us. I know it's quite busy there. Can you give us a sense of what you're seeing right now on the ground in Prince George's County?
Primarily rain,
Okay.
and you all have done an excellent job of describing some of the more severe conditions out there. Right now, we've just, over the last hour or a little more, we've begun to get bands of rain coming through, and we certainly hope people are not only monitoring the forecast, but are in a position to receive alerts such as you all have been discussing, so that they can heed those warnings and, if at all possible, just stay home and let the storm go through.
Yeah, you're in the Emergency Operations Center, so you have the big picture of what's happening. We know that Prince George's County is vast. So where are you seeing most of the problems right now? Where are they concentrated?
Well, we're seeing rainfall from one end of the county to the other on a rotating basis. Right now, there are no specific areas of high concern, but as the rain continues to fall, we suspect that will change a little bit, and we'll react to that as necessary.
All right, so you have these tornado warnings and this tornado warning in Prince George's County. I know you talked a minute ago about asking people to stay home. Any other advice you'd share for people who might not be under that warning, or I guess what people can expect a little later on in the day when the warnings expire as well, I should say?
So we hope that they've had an opportunity to prepare their home, removing items that may blow away or clog a drain, those types of things, that preparation, and if safe to do so, if they still have an opportunity to do that. But the main thing is just being very vigilant and trying to avoid the weather as much as possible.
All right, but the good news on your end, it sounds like just a lot of rain, but nothing major as of yet.
Not as of yet,
Okay.
and we'll keep crossing our fingers that
Yeah, we
will
are.
continue into the evening.
All right. Tyrone Wells with the Prince George's County Emergency Operations Center. Thank you so much. You stay safe as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, Top, what are you saying?
Well, we've got some good news here. We've got
like good news.
expired tornado warnings for Charles and St. Mary's County. That's the good news. Bad news, new tornado warning now for Arundel County and for Prince George's County. And that is moving at about 35 miles per hour. The storm is possibly located near Upper Marlboro.
I see it.
At this point. So,
Right there on your screen now.
yep, there you go. So that is a newer warning, again, for Anne Arundel County and Prince George's County until 2:30. So if you're in the Upper Marlboro area, Marriott Hill, take cover. Queen Anne, take cover as well. This is a radar indicated storm, but it has a pretty good signature there. Even just by reflectivity, it has pretty good signature. So Green Knock and Marriott Hill and Queen Anne, you could see an isolated tornado. At very least, you're going to see some more rain and some gusty winds as you go up Route 2 up toward 424. So Chester's going to track this for us. So maybe Harwood at 205, maybe Marriott Hill at 206, Birdsville at about 210. So
Right there on the border too, the border between Anne Arundel and Upper Marlboro. So technically Upper Marlboro, it's a really tiny sliver east of the Crane Highway. but it still does count as part of the county.
It does, yes, it does. So this is a new warning here, and again, that will go until 2:30 for that little sliver, Prince George's County and Arundel County. And this is moving northeast at 35. This is one of the quicker ones we've seen. So get ready if you're in Dodden or Marriott Hill as well. We can go back to Max 1. That'd be great for just a second. I'll just kind of reset for the watch. The watch continues for the entire metro. If you're in Arundel County, if you're Loudoun County and Frederick County south and east, and then we'll zoom in. That goes until 7 o'clock, and then these are all the bright reds. That is a tornado warning. That is a tornado warning as well. So that's what we're talking about, that little sliver of Prince George's County, but it goes essentially into Arundel County, and then that still is a warning for Charles County and also St. Mary's County. Zoe.
All right, thank you, Todd. Speaking of St. Mary's County, I want to bring on the phone with me Steve Walker, who is the Director of Emergency Operations there. Steve, can you hear me? Okay, it looks like we're going to work on getting Steve Walker. I'm sure he's pretty busy right now dealing with this tornado warning. So we'll try and get him back on the phone. Good excuse not to be here at the moment.
It sounds like he might be there, Zoe. Try it
Hey,
again.
Steve, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you for making time with us. I know you got a lot on your plate today, but we want to get the word out about what you're seeing right now in St. Mary's County under a tornado warning. What are you seeing?
Well, actually, we are monitoring just the way you are, and very fortunately, as you have just announced, that warning has expired.
Yep.
So it has
It's
passed
gone.
on to Anne Arundel. But for us in St. Mary's, very similar to some of the other reports, we want our residents to keep their eyes on the sky and keep watching the weather reports, be ready to respond very quickly to take cover when needed. But for the short term, I think it's passed us by, and I think we're in good shape for a bit. We are seeing overcast, pretty windy out here, but again, fortunately, it sounds like that's passed for now.
Are you seeing one particular issue there right now in terms of your emergency response, whether it's flooding or power outages, trees down?
We really aren't. Again, we're monitoring. We did get that tornado warning up around Charlotte Hall.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking to the school boards. They did put their students on alert for a short time for the weather. But again, it is passing now, so I think we're quite a bit better shape. But we are going to continue to monitor throughout the afternoon.
Yeah, clearly this isn't over. We still have a couple more hours to go. What's your biggest concern as we head into the evening, Steve?
I mean, for us, it is always the high winds. The high winds come in and does quite a bit of damage. If we get the excessive rain with that, then trees are coming down. So high winds is always our biggest concern. When we get extended rainfall, then the flooding becomes a concern. But for now, what we're worried about is the tornado coming in, high winds, and doing the traumatic damage and injuries. So that really is it for us. Right now, we got less than 10 power outages in the county. So again, right now, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, and Steve, I keep saying this. I don't know if this is the right word for it, but in St. Mary's County, you all have really dealt with the brunt of these storms that we have seen for a good chunk of the summer. And I hate to say that you all are experts in this, but how have you prepared? How has that changed over the last couple of months, considering the number of storms you all have had to deal with?
So it really is the past couple of years, because last year we had the flooding and all that. So it really is just being vigilant, being aware. We have an excellent group of partners, with all the different resources, and it truly is just being ready and working together, operational readiness. We have a great, I have an emergency manager that's outstanding, does a great job, Gerald Gardner, and it just really is being vigilant, being ready, being prepared to respond when we need to do that, and bring in all of our partners, work together in one center. And we've been fortunate, but not without, some losses. We lost roads, we've lost, properties and whatnot. So just have to be vigilant and be ready to respond.
Like you said earlier, to the people living in St. Mary's County, keep your eyes on the sky. Steve Walker with the Director with the Emergency Services Department there. Thank you so much. You stay safe.
Thank you.
All right, Chester, give us another update.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Lorenzo. We've got some video we want to share with you from King George County. Chris Wiggins sharing this video, and that is an impressive downpour there. in King George County from the earlier storms that we had that moved through there. We had numerous tornado warnings for King George and parts of the northern neck. At this time, things are relatively calm, which is great news. Back over on Max 3, if we can. I'd like to thank Chris for sending that picture, by the way. Greatly appreciated. If we can come back to Max 3, and I want to show you the current situation with the widescreen radar here, and you can see downpours continue all around Metro Washington, including in the district here. And then we've got one tornado warning that we are still tracking there that has moved into Anne Arundel County now. Even though technically parts of Prince George's County is in that warning, the tornadic signature is completely within Anne Arundel County, and I've put a track on it so you can see. So again, Prince George's County, even though there's technically a warning for your area, you can stand down. We're not concerned about this tornado jumping back into Prince George's County. It's moving to the north with a slight easterly jog through Anne Arundel. So if you live in these areas, Marriott Hill, Dodson, Davidsonville, Birdsville, and over to Lee and London Town, you need to get into your tornado shelter immediately. That would be your basement or lowest level of your home with as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So that would be an interior closet, interior bathroom that has no windows. And if you live in a mobile home, you want to get into a sturdier structure immediately. Again, that is in the communities of Marriott Hill, Dodson, Birdsville, over to Lee and London Town. This is Anne Arundel County, and that signature is showing up pretty much right in the middle of the screen. Let me see if I can get the pointer out to kind of show you. This is about where that tornado signature was when I was looking at the wind earlier, or what we call the velocity. It shows you how fast things are moving around the storm. So the rotation would be in this area here, and that storm system is moving off to the north with a slight easterly jog at about 35. This is the same storm topper that came through Charles County just a few minutes ago and moved into Prince George's County. They lifted the warning, and then they put a new warning on this storm as it's moved into that area. And I think the thinking is that they had a strong enough reasoning of a strong enough a signature showing up there as it moves just west of Annapolis now of a potential tornado with that storm system. So we're continuing to watch this entire area here. I would definitely be keeping an eye on those storms down into La Plata and down in towards Waldorf and Mechanicsville. Those are some hefty storms there. No severe warnings at this time there, but we still have the tornado warning for portions of Anne Arundel County and a very small section of Prince George's County. And that's, again, that is something we're still watching until, I believe, 2:30 p.m. here. Topper?
All right, we are going to track those storms, and we still have that one warning. And we have Delia Gonzalez live in Oxon Hill. And Delia, what are you seeing out there? Delia, can you hear me?
Hi, Lorenzo, we're live here on Oxon Hill Road with 6100 block of Oxon Hill Road. We're just a short distance from National Harbor. I would say about a 2-3 minute drive from National Harbor and the Tanger outlets, just a short drive from there. You can see some sun is poking through, but the clouds and the sky looks awfully dark when we look over to our west here on Oxon Hill Road. The winds are picking up. It was raining a short time ago, however, it has eased up. I would say it started raining initially for the first time in this second spell. Around an hour ago, we started seeing some heavy rain coming down. Just minutes ago, the skies have cleared up in regards to the precipitation that was falling, but you can still see that the wind is whipping. We are getting some gusts of breeze coming through, but still lots of folks on the road, tons of traffic, people out and about. We know that there was a tornado warning in the area that Chester and Topper were telling us about. However, we really did not see a whole lot of folks in this immediate area bunkering down, taking shelter. It seems like it was business as usual. Folks are attending to their everyday chores. I see folks here at the bank driving around and running their errands. We will continue to monitor the situation here as we survey the area, looking for any potential damage, talking to folks who are preparing. We know over In D.C., just over the line in D.C. where we were earlier today, crews from D.C. Water and DPW are doing preventative work to try to ward off any additional flooding. So any of those hot spots, those troubled neighborhoods that they know typically are low-lying and do flood, crews are working to clear out the storm drains in that area as well to try to prevent anything from happening. And so we know that crews here in Prince George's County keeping a close eye on conditions as they continue to change. We'll keep you updated as the day progresses. Back to you.
All right, Delia, good stuff. And the best news, that video, is that cars were moving, but it was a dry pavement. It was not flooded road. So that's good. That's good. All right, so let's talk about the difference between a watch and a warning. So a watch just simply means, hey, it's possible, there's a risk, have a plan. And then the warning means, hey, you've got to implement that plan, take action now. So no matter what the watch or warning is, whether it's a tornado watch or severe thunderstorm watch or winter storm watch, is possible, warning, it's happening. Okay, so here's the deal. This is the tornado watch for much of the metro, Loudoun County, Frederick County, back into the Culpeper area, and points south and east across 95 into southern Maryland. That goes until 7 o'clock. These are actual warnings. That bright red is a tornado warning, and the yellow is a severe thunderstorm warning just north up into Pennsylvania. So the watch will continue, I think, for a while. I think they will begin to trim it back from west to east as the danger and the values and the variables kind of lift northeast of us that would produce thunderstorms that might produce a tornado. So here's a radar and a couple of things here. So we've got the severe storms over towards southern Maryland into Arundel County. Also, some more storms are now developing down just south of Leesburg, cross 66, west of 95, around Warrenton. That's a relatively new area of storms. That's pretty heavy. The rainfall rates there are anywhere from an inch to a little bit over an inch, and we have still tremendous amounts of rain up into Frederick County and around Warrenton, so around Hagerstown. So this is the tornado warning, still in effect until 2:30. Again, just a little sliver of Prince George's County. The lion's share is Anne Arundel County, and that goes until 2:30. So Annapolis, you're in the warning. So we wouldn't want to be going out 450 or 50 toward Annapolis or the Bay Bridge right now. Rainfall rates in here are super heavy. Around London Town, around 2, as you go down 2 into 214 and 253, we've got a rainfall rates of over an inch and a half per hour. So the Weather Service is going to continue the tornado warnings. This is going to continue now until 2:30. The storm's moving northeast at about 35 miles an hour. So this will be continued. So if you're in Annapolis, you're under the tornado warning at this time. Shady Side, you're out of it. You're okay. Bowie, you're not in the warning. Just some moderate rain right now. Heavier rain as you go up 97 toward Baltimore off of 50. Down to the south and east, we still have heavy storms. I mean, these are not tornadic, but I got to tell you, this is heavy rain. So that's going to be a problem in Charles County and even into southern Prince George's County over the next couple of hours. These rainfall rates are about an inch and a half per hour in red, and even the orange is almost an inch per hour. So heavy rain, just nasty travel down 301, down 5 into southern Maryland. This is really big rain between Rogers Mill and Newport. Notice the lightning strikes too, just north of Budds Creek. Rainfall there almost 2 inches per hour. Not as heavy as it was earlier. Allen's Fresh Road out toward Newport. Heavier rain has now moved northward, but still, you know, we're looking at rainfall rates of about 3/4 of an inch per hour. So we'll zoom back out, and this is just, you know, I mean, it's all tropical moisture. This is not surprising to see these kinds of echoes on the radar. Heavy rain still in Frederick, heavy rain now approaching Leesburg and up 66. This is going to be a band to watch to see if any of that band could produce a couple of spinners or small tornadoes. We'll see. This is going to move northeastward into Fairfax County very shortly. So we got heavy rain south and west. We have heavy rain to the north up to 70. We have heavy rain again into southern Maryland. We have severe weather east over toward Annapolis. That goes until 2:30. We have a new tornado warning up in Baltimore until 2:45. So this I'm going to watch carefully. Manassas, Aldie, Haymarket. This is a relatively new area of heavy rain that's going to push toward Fairfax here shortly as we go through the next hour or so. Some flooding possible, and we'll see if we see any tornadoes.
If I can interrupt there, Topper.
Go.
Two things of note. One is just got a report of a tornado touchdown in Allen's Fresh. That was in Charles County. That was reported about 30 minutes ago. So again, also for the producers listening, if they want to listen, they might be able to send someone down to get some damage video. It's a little far, but Charles County, you guys had a tornado touchdown near Allen's Fresh, not far from Dentsville. Again, that was in Charles County. And then also we have a live picture.
There's Allen's Fresh right there.
Yeah, so that's where the tornado.
That's where the tornado possibly was touched down. There's Allen's Fresh
about
Road.
30 minutes ago.
Okay.
And then we also have a live video of US 50. Is that correct? Here at Maryland Route 424. That's the exit to what's the Davidson. That's it. Davidson. And so that's Route 424. Davidson is at the intersection of Route 214, and you can see the live video there. Now, the tornado signature, if there is one, is almost due east of this, towards New Haven, London town, and near the Davidson area. Those are all places that you guys should be watching us from your shelter right now, because the possible tornado is right in that area. And then everyone who watches from Annapolis, you need to get in your shelter immediately, because there's a possible tornado on the ground here in this area. Not confirmed, but apparently that is being given, that information is being reported by others there of tornado on the ground. So I don't know if that's true or not, but either way, they need to get into their shelter right now in Arundel near Annapolis.
Yeah, we'll see if that we can confirm that. But the Allen's Fresh, that we have confirmed reports there, so we'll try to get a crew down there. Let's go back to CG17 if we can for just a second. I want to go up to 70 into Frederick. There's still heavy rain there. I mean, look at this. Clover Hill, heavy rain, down into Frederick proper, Harry Grove Stadium, out 70 and 50. It's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse before it gets better. So we'll go over these again, because we have a lot of stuff happening. Lowest level of your home if there were a tornado warning issued. Basement is best. Interior room away from windows. Duck and cover. Protect your head and neck. It's flying debris that causes the problems. Okay, where do these storms go? By 3 p.m. rather, we still have a tremendous amount of heavy rain, Leesburg to Frederick, up toward Hagerstown. And that means more flooding. We also have some pretty good storms east of town as well, not quite as heavy as what we're seeing right now. Rainfall rates there probably an inch per hour. Look what Futurecast does, though. I mean, by 4 o'clock, it really spins up some heavy storms in Anne Arundel County, Prince George's County, and back into Calvert and Charles County, and still continues, although it's moving north, still continues some pretty heavy rain, Hagerstown to Frederick, and then up into Franklin County and also into Fulton County as well. By 5 o'clock, heavy activity goes across the bay. So we still have some showers, so we're not done with the storms just yet. I think by 5 o'clock we're done with the chance for tornadoes, because Futurecast by 6 p.m. still has showers and storms back into Hagerstown, and then by 6:30 has a pretty good storm just to the west of Leesburg, and even by 8:30 has some pretty good storms moving through the immediate metro area.
Real quick, Topper, I got to break in here. New information from the National Weather Service. There's a confirmed tornado on the ground over London town, not far from Annapolis. That's that storm we've been watching.
Okay.
It is moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. It was confirmed on the ground, London town in Anne Arundel County, moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. It's that storm we just showed you, and I've got the warning map on your screen right now. Confirmed on the ground, moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. That's in London town, heading towards Annapolis. So again, technically Annapolis is not part of our viewing area per se, but a lot of people can watch us from out there. If you live in Annapolis, if you know someone in Annapolis, and especially that western part of town, they need to get to their shelter immediately, because we have seen, we've got a confirmed report of a tornado on the ground there in Anne Arundel County with this warning until 2:30. And then I'm seeing some social media chatter of a possible tornado from a video that was shot in that area too. So I'm not gonna, it's not confirmed.
I see it here on velocity. I got the scope up. Go back to max 1. So
if
we
you
got
want to switch back to max 1
gate to gate, 83 miles per hour, velocity 32 miles per hour. So there is definitely some rotation just north of London town, right around Route 2.
Yeah,
so
not far from Edgewater and Riva.
Please take this seriously, and you should be listening to us from a shelter or your basement, because this is now confirmed, so it's no longer Doppler indicated. So if you're around Gingerville, even up into Parole, please take cover. This is serious stuff here. Donovan's Pier, Gingerville, Pine Whiff Beach. It could be over you right now in Pine Whiff Beach. That's just north of London Town. If you go up 2, get off at 2. It's going to kind of follow 2 parallel, sort of parallel 2, but probably on the east side of 2. So Parole, you're in the sights. Forest Villa, you're in the sights. Gingerville and Donovan's Pier, I got to tell you, it's got to be pretty close to you right now. Let's just scope this again and see if we can see where the actual velocity is. London Town, in between, yeah. So now that looks to me like it's closer to Gingerville. So please, if you're stay off of Route 2, but it looks like it's closer to Gingerville. I don't think they're going to be that crazy. Well, it's gate to gate, 62 miles per hour. So what we're doing is we're looking for a different direction of wind, and that indicates rotation, and that indicates a possible tornado. So you've got to take cover. I mean, immediately,
right now. This is a dangerous situation.
In Gingerville, in Donovan's Pier, I mean, this is where the possible tornado is on the ground as we speak, essentially the east side of 2, but very close to Route 2.
I don't know if you guys could dual box that video, that live video you were telling me about there on at Interstate 97 at the intersection with Route 50. That's where 97 ends there as you approach Annapolis, for those who are familiar with that route. I know that we have some live video there, and it doesn't look all that wicked there. If there's another camera east of there, ladies and gentlemen, my production staff, maybe we might have a better view of that storm. So we're going to see if we can find a camera east of there on 301. But that is where that possible tornado is, just southeast of that intersection there. Tornado warning until 3 o'clock with a confirmed tornado until 2:30. My apologies. Confirmed tornado on the ground in the Annapolis area right now.
I know if you've been watching this this particular system for a while now, and I don't know if it went over the Lanham area just north of Prince George's County. I know you talked about it moving northeast. We had a picture of a tree down on a house in Lanham.
Oh, wow.
Just to give you a sense of how bad it is in that area right now. But I know when you were talking about watching the system track north, I'm not sure if this is part of that same pattern.
I mean, it could be just a straight line wind from this. We're going to have a little bit of wind just from what's left of Ida. And so, yeah, it could be. I mean, we talked about wind gusts across the board, 20 to 40 miles per hour. And you know what, Zoe? With all the rain we've had, it's just not going to take much to pull a tree down.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, not even severe level winds will take some of these limbs down. They're so weakened. We've had so much rain. So between the tornado threat now in Anne Arundel County, and then, of course, the downpours we're getting in Metro Washington, we've got a sort of a 1-2 punch going on right now. And I'm being told that we are going to be speaking with...
Yes, we have Captain Russ Davis with Anne Arundel Fire, who's on the phone with us right now. Captain Davis, are you here with us?
Hey, Lorenzo and Topper, how are you?
Hey,
Great.
Captain Davis, thank you so much for being here with us. Chester Lampkin in the studio with us as well, and Leslie Foster might jump in. Just give us a sense of what you're seeing right now. We heard Chester mention that a confirmed tornado on the ground there in Anne Arundel County. What are you seeing?
So we're understanding that there is a severe event happening right now in the Edgewater and Mayo area. Right now, we are not seeing calls for service related to that, but that's pretty understandable. We're hoping that everybody's following the guidance and sheltering. We would expect if there's damage that we would start to receive those calls shortly afterwards.
What are you seeing overall in the county right now?
Right now, we're seeing some high winds and some heavy rains. We haven't had any confirmation of a tornado down in that area, but we do understand that the National Weather Service is indicating that that's occurring.
Okay, so again, your particular focus is the Edgewater and Mayo area?
Yeah, that's our understanding right now, that the area that's receiving the most severe weather.
Okay.
Edgewater and what was the other one?
And the Mayo area?
Mayo area.
Yeah, Edgewater and Mayo down along the Route 214 corridor just south of Annapolis.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. Okay.
And you said no emergency calls as of yet, though.
No calls to this point that would be related to the storm, but that's not unusual. If people are following the guidance and they're sheltering in the basement or in a center room, a lot of these, if it's wires down, trees down, we wouldn't start to receive those type of calls until people, come out from those areas.
Yeah. So what's your big focus right now? I take it you are diverting some of your crews to that part of the county at this point.
Well, we're going to see where the demand for service comes in. We've got the concern for this possible tornado in that area of the county. We also have concerns for some, for the high water situations in other areas. So we're going to see where the demand is, and then we'll shift our resources as we need to.
All right.
Yeah, if I jump in here, we got a pretty good rotation around Parole. We talked about this earlier. Gate to gate, 73 miles per hour. So I think at the very least in this area around Parole, we're looking at winds of 50. And as we mentioned, it's not going to take much to take trees down. But if you're in Parole right now, or even over towards Severn Grove, you got to take cover. And also West Annapolis, Winchester on the Severn, I would take cover too. I mean, you're under the warning, but I think the tornado is going to move something like this across 301, probably on the west side of 301 toward Winchester on the Severn. So right now, if I had to place anything on the ground, I would put it probably a little north of Parole, very close to 301 and 70, right in this area, just west of West Annapolis, if you will. So take cover.
So you're talking about the Route 50, Route Boulevard area of the county?
Well, I'm talking about 301 where it goes across 70. It's just to the southeast of Severn Grove. It's sort of it's sort of west-northwest of Annapolis. I mean, if you're south of Annapolis, you're fine. This is going to head more up sort of 301, kind of 301, but Winchester on the Severn. And we'll see if they extend this as we go through the afternoon. This goes until 2:30 right now. We'll kind of widen back out. So this is the warning. Now, obviously, if you're down here, your danger is if you're down here in this part, you're over. If you're in south of Annapolis, you're okay. It's this point west of Annapolis and northwest of Annapolis, and even up into Arnold. You're not in the warning yet, but you are right in the path of the storm. You're getting heavy rain right now and gusty winds. So it sort of is immaterial if we get tornadoes or we just have the winds. There's been so much rain, it's going to cause some problems. And we have rainfall rates over 2 inches per hour. Another problem.
All right. Captain Davis with Anne Arundel Fire, thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
And
Captain.
you stay safe. We'll be checking in with you throughout the evening, too.
All right. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Appreciate it. So, again, this is the area we're concerned about.
Okay, and as you do that, real quick, Route 90, where's this live shot? I-97. Okay, so this is just in the Annapolis area, and that's an impressive shot there. We've got the low-hanging cloud. You can see the downpours there in the
should be
distance.
looking west, I think, or
and
northwest. So that is, that's probably this storm. Now, again, the warning goes until 2:30. It's just Anne Arundel County now. It is no longer Prince George's County. But this is the storm that I think it probably has the potential. We've already seen eyewitness, but right around Parole, that's where we're kind of concerned about, right in this area around Weems Creek and Parole. This would probably be the best chance. Can we come back to CG17,
back to the next one,
please?
If we can go back to that, please.
Okay, great. So this is where, so I think I saw the gate-to-gate shear of 83 miles per hour in Parole. So if you're up in Weems Creek or Winchester on the Severn, I think this is where you've got to really take cover right now. I think if you're over toward Annapolis or even Ferry Farms, you're okay in terms of the tornado. You have heavy rain. And then this is going to move off to the north. So eventually, we're looking at the potential for this to kind of work its way up 301. So if you're in Arnold, I would begin to take cover. So we still have the warning for just Anne Arundel County until 2:30, but we have tremendous storms still across much of the metro, especially as you go back to the north and west of town. Look at this line. I mean, this has really become rather interesting. Rainfall rates are now increasing with this line. In fact, up to over 1.5 inches per hour. So Fairfax, Chantilly, Manassas, Dale City, you're all going to get some heavy rain. Would not want to be going down 95 at this point in time. And then as you go out west, Leesburg, heavy rain. And we have the flood warnings continue for Berkeley and Carroll and Frederick County. Those are large-scale warnings of rivers and streams being out of their banks. It's not a flash flood.
There is a new flash flood warning, however, for parts of Frederick and Carroll County, from the city of Frederick up to Thurmont, right along 15 there.
Oh, right up here, right up here.
That's a new flash flood warning
This
there.
is a new one right here, yep. That includes Thurmont and Frederick and
Walkersville.
points north all the way up into the Maryland-PA border. And just north of that, there's a severe thunderstorm warning for Adams County. So this is still going to be a problem in terms of rain. This is a pretty good line right here. We have some good news, I guess, right now for Hagerstown. You sort of have a break. Yeah, I mean, I know it's still some light rain and showers, but the heaviest activity is pushed into Pennsylvania, and this activity in Leesburg should move into Frederick as we go through the next few hours. So again, we have the Anne Arundel County tornado warning until 2:30, and notice they have extended this now northward, Chester, which makes sense, until 3 o'clock. So this one will expire, and then this is going to be in effect until 3 o'clock. And that makes perfect sense because I really think that there's it may not be on the ground continuously, but I think it's probably popped up and down.
Sure.
So you're in Lake Shore, Arnold, you are in the path of this, right there and right into Arnold. If you're in Annapolis, the danger of the tornado, I think, is over. In Annapolis, I think you're okay. But if you're west of Annapolis and northwest, not quite in Pasadena, but just to the east of that, around Route 2, you run the risk of a tornado on the ground. So please take cover. We say this over and over again, but we want you to take cover. We want you to be safe. So we have heavy rain, though. We're not done with the heavy rain, but I think the good news is we may be okay in terms of, as we mentioned, the tornadic threat probably decreases now in the immediate metro. I think if you're west of 95, you're probably okay. If you're east of 95, certainly not yet. But the watch goes until 7 o'clock. Chester, what do you have?
Yeah, so I'm looking at this complex of storms west of town, the one you've been tracking here. There are no warnings on it just yet, but impressive amounts of rain here west of Washington through the metro, Leesburg, Sterling, Chantilly, down through Fairfax and over towards Dale City as the downpours continue, as this continues to move off to the east. And then, of course, we're still tracking that tornadic storm in Anne Arundel County. So between these two systems, those are the two of the main areas of concern right now. And then, of course, the flash flood watch, which is up into Frederick County, and that includes the city of Frederick. So if you live in Frederick and up to Thurmont, you need to make sure that you are in a safe space away from that rushing water that may be occurring in those areas. We've already seen people die today, likely caused by flooding. We don't want to see anyone else die in a flash flood situation there in Frederick County. Your warning's until 5:30, and then look at that intense rain that Topper's showing us there.
124. It was just 154 a second ago. So this is going to cause some more flash flooding. I mean, there's just no way around it. And please, again, it's more dangerous, really, and it covers a larger area than tornadoes. So you have to still sort of take it with a grain of salt and take it seriously, because rainfall rates around Burke now are going to turn into about 1.5 inches or so per hour, and that's going to cause some flooding around 123. Fairfax, it's going to be a mess as you go out 66, and we're looking at the potential for flooding also north of that into Loudoun County, and then it will cross the river into Montgomery County and even parts of the district as we go through the next hour or so. So we may not have tornado warnings, but we still have some problems with this whole system, with the remnants of Ida. We'll go back to Leesburg. Now even Leesburg, you've got very heavy rain right in town. In fact, we'll kind of scope this a little bit. So right around the bypass there, you've got rainfall rates around Battlefield Parkway southeast, 1.54. So right there, 1.5 inches per hour. That's going to cause some flooding. Now, will it stay over you for an hour? No, but there'll be enough rain. You'll probably pick up 1 inch as the whole system begins to move off to the north and the east. So again, Battlefield Parkway northeast and southeast, you've got some big time rains right now, and that's going to move off to the north as well. So 15, not a good place to be right now in terms of the rainfall. It's going to move off to the north, Luckett's, and as I mentioned, it's going to probably cross the river here shortly. So it's going to go from Sugar Land Run as you go out 7 past Drainsville and kind of jump the river into upper Montgomery County. Rainfall rates in Poolesville, not crazy right now, but if we just go a little bit out toward, say, Elmer, rainfall rates are picking up. We've got about almost a ½ an inch per hour, and as we mentioned, we go over into the red, and we've got 1.5 inches per hour. So everybody's under a flash flood watch until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. That will probably not change. I don't think they'll change that, Chester, do you? I doubt that.
I doubt it. If maybe
don't
they
think
lifted
they
a couple hours early, but honestly, I'm not too
I don't
worried about that happening. What we are worried about is we've got damage, possible damage in the Annapolis area because of that tornadic storm there. And if we can briefly switch over to Max 3 CG20, I'm pulling up this downpour here in the Dumfries area over to Woodbridge. Just to illustrate, we've got some big-time downpours in that area right now, and there is a little bit, just a little hint of possible rotation in the Dumfries area. So we're just watching that with great care now, just so you guys know there are no warnings at this time, but right around, I'd say, Dumfries, this area here, just seeing a little, you can kind of see it very, very tiny bit of rotation in around the River Heritage Boulevard area and right along US Route 1. So if you live in this area and you can be safe, if you see anything out your window, you can see the sky. If you see anything, let us know what you may be seeing. Just a little hint of a possible rotation with that very slim area there south of Featherstone, right along US Route 1, not far from River Heritage Boulevard and Nabasco Road and looks like Port Potomac Avenue, those areas there near Georgetown Village and Garfield Estates there. That's in the Dumfries area, south of Woodbridge there. Top. You can see that there,
sure
that
can.
velocity there.
Yeah, sure can. It may not last more than, a minute or two.
Yeah,
so
and these things, you're right, they could spin up so quick.
It's crazy. We've got a live shot from 50 at Sandy Point before you go over the Bay Bridge, and we'll see what this looks like. So this is east, so it looks a little brighter to the east, which makes it makes a little bit of sense because the storm is actually just north of you. So traffic's moving. I don't see any flooding on the roads, a little bit of ponding, but I don't see anybody driving through anything flooding. Notice the trees blowing, so they got winds, probably 20, 25 miles per hour, even though the bulk of the storm, the brunt of the storm, if you will, is just north of that live shot. So we'll go back to Max 1 for a minute. And, the live shot was over here just before you go over the Bay Bridge, but this is where the storm is, over toward Lake Shore. The warning goes until 3 o'clock, and you should take cover. This is a serious thing, because we've seen, it's one thing to have a Doppler indicated tornado, but we've actually had some eyewitnesses on this tornado. Is it still on the ground? It's possible. We don't have anything new on that. No confirmation or sighting just yet. Oh, that's one up in Baltimore. They're going to continue that warning as well. But if you're in Lake Shore or Pinehurst, around 177, you should take cover. This is massive rainfall. I mean, rainfall rates almost 2 inches per hour in this area, and this is going to move off to the north and the east. But let's go back to the west, as Chester was talking about. This is really, even down here, Chester, this is still pretty heavy rain, upper Marlboro, down to Prince Frederick.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I mean, that's picked up a little bit. I mean, if we zoom in a little bit, wouldn't want to be on the road between upper Marlboro and Dunkirk right now. Bald Eagle, I mean, we're talking rainfall rates, 2.95 inches.
And I would say right there west of Dunkirk, a little bit of rotation there too with that. Even, that's something we'll have to watch. Embedded supercells in these downpours can lead to these spin-ups.
Yeah, and there can be several along this line, and again, small, maybe on the ground for 30 seconds, maybe a couple minutes, and that's all. We're not going to see anything like La Plata where it's on the ground for 60 miles. That's not going to happen. It's a different situation. Now, so we have that heavy rain here, and we also have this heavy rain that's about to move through the immediate metro area, closer to Fairfax, and also then Loudoun County, heavy rain in Leesburg. It's let up a little bit out in Leesburg, but this is going to push up to the north. So going out 66 is not going to be any fun. Going up to 70 is not going to be any fun. I mean, we mentioned this yesterday. If you can stay off the roads, please do. I just think it's better, and in case there's an emergency, nobody's in the way of the emergency personnel to get to that emergency. So we'll zoom back out. And we have some good news here. So now Hagerstown, Winchester, west, you have some showers, but you can probably take a breather for now. I think you're going to see one last little gasp of some showers and storms, probably around 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. But again, right now you can take a break. The heaviest rain now is closer to the immediate metro area, up to 70 from Frederick and Leesburg and points east down to the south and west. And we're going to watch these two areas. We're going to watch this area for a little possible spin up down 95 north of Dumfries, and we're going to watch this. This has really kind of caught my attention the last 5 minutes.
I agree, and
that's fairly impressive.
If you live there are a couple notches showing up here. So if you live anywhere in the Lewisham area, Dunkirk, Owings, Chesapeake Beach, Huntingtown area, I would just be weather ready just in case there could easily be a spin up with any of these here. And I'm looking at some stuff coming in on social media about our tornado parameters and our severe weather parameters. The atmosphere is still a bit juiced up across the area here, so we're not quite done just yet. Basically, from D.C. on to the east, there still could be some stronger thunderstorms. And I don't know if this is weather related. I just want to interject real quick. The Metro Rail Twitter account is reporting that the Green Line is experiencing a suspension of service between Branch and Suitland right now. So if you are going to ride the Green Line this afternoon, there may be delays here as the Green Line is not running between Branch Avenue and Suitland. That's at the end of the line there over into Prince George's County. So there could be some delays for travelers there on the Green Line.
Wow, yeah, good stuff. Now, again, going down 301 here, as Chester mentioned, Dunkirk in here, Huntingtown, in this whole area, be ready weather ready. I mean, be ready, because they're going to come up quickly. Hopefully, yesterday you heard us, and you took in some of your light chairs and whatever you have in the patio that could blow around, because these winds could be up to 60. But look at the rainfall. I mean, this is very heavy rain. Let's go ahead and just kind of query this again. So say Mount Calvert, just around Mount Calvert area, we get rainfall rates again, 2.95 inches per hour. That's pretty impressive. And it's not hail contaminated. We know that, Chester.
Yeah,
it's
there's
not
no
really
hail.
a hail. This is not a hail event. That's a real rainfall value, and that will cause flooding. And as we've seen this over the past little bit, this has kind of grown a little bit in intensity and also size. So I'm a little concerned about some flooding around Mount Dunkirk and Route 4 and Jewel Road as this lifts back to the north and the east. It could cause some flooding, and you may see an isolated tornado. We can't rule that out. Again, everybody's under a tornado watch until 7 o'clock, Loudoun County, Frederick County, and points south and east. So it's a serious situation. It's the remnants of Ida. This is common if you were with us back in Isabel, which was, Chris, 2003. 2003, we had a bunch. It was a different track, but we had this similar situation with a bunch of spin-up tornadoes during the afternoon. And that's what we have today. So this is one area of rain and showers and storms we're watching, and this has really become much better organized down 301 all the way to Mechanicsville. That's pretty impressive. And again, rainfall rates we just showed you, 2 almost 3 inches per hour. And then this is what Jesse was talking about earlier around Dumfries. It looks still pretty. Looks fairly interesting.
Yeah, still
now around
rotation
Woodbridge,
on there.
just a little bit. And rainfall rates, down around Blackburn Road, we got 1.91 inches here on Blackburn Road. So flooding, isolated tornadoes, a few gusty winds. I guess the good news, I think we're going to be out of the tornado threat in the immediate metro area a little later on this afternoon, probably by about 3 or 4 o'clock, at least I-95 west. Not to say we're not going to still see showers and storms with some heavy downpours, but the parameters that we look for seem to be moving out toward Baltimore and southern PA and the Delmarva around 3, 4, 5 o'clock this afternoon.
All right. Real quick, I believe we have a video here that's coming in from Lanham in Prince George's County of a tree down into a house there. That was with the earlier line of storms that came through. Currently, no big storms in Prince George's County, but this came from one of our photojournalists here. It looks like it is.
It's a sizable tree.
Quality video there, and yeah, that is a massive tree, and that's just indicative. There were no tornado or severe thunderstorm warnings in that part of Prince George's County, from what I understand.
No.
And it just doesn't take much to knock these trees down with all this rain here.
Hey, gentlemen, you've all have been talking about how quickly these tornadoes pop up, but you also are illustrating that whether you've got a tornado barreling towards you or not, with this kind of rain, anything is possible. So we have to be prepared.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us could see gusts from 20 to 40 just as the remnants pushed east of us. So, yeah, that is another danger. And yeah, it kind of becomes immaterial if it were a straight line wind or if it were in fact a tornado. So we have, let me see here, let's see, Chester, I think we are, okay, the warning is now gone in the Arundel area. They still have the tornado warning up to the north. But
they just canceled that.
They just canceled it.
Yep, so that'll be done. There is a report there. I don't know if you could see the storm report just came in from one of the emergency managements out in Anne Arundel County, but confirmed trees, wires down, and damage to buildings throughout Riva, Woodland Beach, and Annapolis area. So again, producers, news folks, and everyone may want to send some crews out that way. Again, Riva, Woodland Beach, Annapolis area.
There's Riva. Yeah, there's Riva right here. Okay.
And confirmed damage there.
London Town. We talked about that. We talked about Parole. I gotta believe there's all kinds of damage between Riva and Parole right here.
Yeah, and this is coming from emergency management being reported to the National Weather Service. So again, Riva, Woodland Beach, Annapolis area. Multiple reports of damage to buildings, wires down, confirmed tree damage as well.
Okay. So. The good news is it's now lifting north of you. The bad news is we have confirmed reports of damage. And that means it could have been on the ground a little longer, Chester. We'll see.
Yeah.
Now, we'll have to, what'll happen is these are not confirmed yet, so the National Weather Service will go out probably tomorrow, and they will study the damage, look at the damage pattern, the debris pattern, make sure it's circular, and then determine if in fact it were a tornado and then how strong it was. And then we'll have a path, and we'll let you know if it was on the ground for 200 yards or for a mile. It's kind of rare for tornadoes to be on the ground for much more than a mile here in the metro area. It's sort of rare. All right, right now, look at this. This is still big time heavy rains, and we'll see if anything spins up out of here. So Dunkirk down to Prince Frederick, a little increase in lightning as well. I mean, this is at the very least. I mean, in Prince George's County. And over to Anne Arundel County, you're going to get some tremendous rainfall. I mean, rainfall rates right now, 2.95 inches right here, east of Upper Marlboro and just north of 4. And so this is all drifting northward. So it could actually rain for an hour at almost that rate. So you could see 1 to 3 inches just in the next hour in some of these areas just to the east of Upper Marlboro. That is certainly possible. Again, everybody's under a flash flood watch. That has not changed, but this is going to cause some big time flooding, and we'll watch it and see if it spins up any tornadoes. This out to the west, Chester, does not look quite as bad. Maybe down to the south, it still has a little bit.
Just that tight tail
Yeah,
end,
this guy down here is a little bit of a problem. But even so, you get tremendous rains, out toward 66 and around the Beltway, 495. So flooding is going to be an issue. I'm kind of surprised we've not seen some flash flood warnings issued for some of these storms.
Especially out there in Calvert. There's a lot of lightning with that storm, too, in and around Huntingtown, Dunkirk, and up towards the Chesapeake Beach area.
And it's increased, and that's one of the signs we'll watch for. Increased lightning often means, hey, the storm's getting stronger. It's intensifying. At the very least, though, we got tremendous rains. Look at it from, almost, north of Dunkirk, just kind of almost out 50, all the way down through Leonardtown. And that's going to push into Anne Arundel County, Calvert County as we go through the next hour or so, maybe till 3:30, next 45 minutes or so. And then this line is now approaching the district, Fairfax County.
It's a good sized line there.
Yep. And we might see this could produce some gusty winds. It could still produce a gust of 20 to 30 miles per hour. And as Chester mentioned, it's well below severe level criterion, which is 58. But with all the rain, that could cause some problems. Even Germantown and Rockville and Fairfax. I mean, you go out 66 now toward Fairfax, and you've got some pretty serious rains out toward Ottowood and Merrifield and Fairmount Street. And this is going to more than likely get a little heavier before it gets lighter. Vienna has some heavy rain at 123 as well, and not far from Wolf Trap. So that's at least moderate rain. We don't see anything tornadic with that just yet, but we are concerned about this area down here. And this is the area that we could see some flooding, and we could see maybe a quick spin up around, what is that, Old Colchester Road right there. And that's pushing northeastward. That's going to go over 286 here in a little bit, and the Beltway. So heavy storm, possibly severe, a slight chance it is tornadic, but just, for fun here, we'll just go ahead and do this. So this rainfall rate here is 2.38 inches per hour.
Yeah, I mean, even if that lasted for half an hour,
right,
it's still a ton of rain.
It's a ton of rain, right. Remember, every month we only average between, maybe 3.5 inches of rain. So if you get an inch or two, you're getting essentially half the monthly rainfall average in an hour or less in this case. So that's going to be something we're going to watch as we go through the next half an hour or so, but it's going to slow the commute down. And we talked about the evening commute not being any fun, and I don't think we oversold that. It is not going to be a lot of fun trying to get home tonight, because we haven't received all the reports of damage just yet. We've got a marine warning now for Chesapeake Bay from North Beach to Drum Point. No real surprise there with that storm.
Some gusty winds for sure.
And some gusty winds right out there. So we got that. That's not that surprising. Yes.
I am going to interrupt you. We've got a video coming from the Edgewater area, and it's likely our tornado that we saw earlier. I mean, certainly looks like a funnel cloud at the very least. This one is from Laura. I believe it's Martin or Martian. Martin?
Yeah,
Martin
Laura.
at the very end there.
Looks like that, yeah.
And that is that's a tornado if I've ever seen one.
Yes, it is, and it's small.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see debris. When the camera moves, it looks like it's debris, but it's actually, I think, water on the lens.
Yeah, I do. It does.
See that?
Although
maybe I see
debris
now.
I could see the debris there. The debris
there you do
cloud
see a
picking
little
up
bit
there.
now.
And even outside of that funnel, thank you, Laura, for sending this
is great.
this video here. That is just incredible.
You guys, this is stunning video, and you can see some of the cars look like they're pulling over.
Yeah.
Kind of like they're seeing it too. This is not where you want to be when there's a tornado coming.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you were in a car, your probably best bet would be just to duck into one of those buildings and get away from windows.
That's the way, because it's not very wise to say the least.
So you're not going to, if this happens where you are tonight, you do not want to keep driving. You want to pull over and try to get into a structure pretty quickly.
A secure structure, yep. You don't want to outrun it. Folks are not very good with their directions, and you might end up running to it. So, and it might change direction.
It's moving. It's
was probably moving at 30. Another reason you want to outrun it. Some of them will move at 60, but these are moving a little slower. So, wow, that was incredible video.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So there we go, confirmed video and confirmed tornado.
Yeah.
In the Annapolis area.
Thank you, Lauren. That was pretty darn awesome. Okay, so we're watching this line move out toward the bay, and it's still some heavy rain just east of Upper Marlboro now, and we're looking at also heavy rain back to the west into almost approaching Silver Spring now, and also 95. So commute's not going to be any fun. Up to 70. You can go back to 1 for me. Well, either one, doesn't really matter. Back to 1 for a second. Heavy rain from Germantown to Frederick right now and over toward Brunswick. Remember, we talked about this kind of jump in the river from Loudoun County into Upper Montgomery County, and that's what's happened. Not a warning on this, but I do just kind of want to give you an idea of some of the rainfall around Ballinger Creek. Rainfall rates there, 2.5 inches per hour in this red area. So out 15, no fun right now. This is all moving northward toward Frederick. Buckystown out 80, and also up 355, you've got rainfall rates around 1 inch per hour. And this will increase in intensity out toward 355 as we go through the next 15 minutes or so. I think it's going to increase. So we're looking at flooding, again, is as much of a problem as anything. I know tornadoes are a little more interesting and the kind of ears perk up, but I got to tell you, flooding is very, very important. And if you're in this area, I would say please don't cross a flooded road. It's just not worth it. just wait. If it's a flash flood, it goes down quickly. Otherwise, you just turn around and find another way home.
Yeah.
Which is why we recommend keeping more than half a tank of gas in your car yesterday in case you come to an area that is blocked for whatever reason, a downed line, a flooded street, anything like that. But that is what we're talking about as we go through the next couple of hours. Again, the best news I think we have is that the threat for tornadoes should abate by the time we get into the coming up on it, 3, 4, 5 o'clock hour, abating from west to east. Back to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, our Scott Broom has been out dealing with the elements all day in Alexandria, an area where they have just been dealing with it for weeks now.
Yeah, and they've been trying to get ready this time around as well. They've had to deal with flooding multiple times this month alone. We're going to go to our Scott Broom on scene right now. Scott, I know when we spoke with you roughly 2.5 hours ago, it was dry, but what are you saying right now?
Well, we've had a couple of showers, but I think Alexandria feels like it's gotten off the hook so far. Now we're starting to see some rain again, and there's a lot of anxiety here, which is why we brought you here, just to show you yards like this. This is Jim Morgan's house. This has flooded 2 times in the past 3 weeks. We're not looking now at his sort of makeshift sandbag arrangement with a gravel kind of levee that he's built, and that's because this garage here has flooded at least 1.5 feet, 2 feet deep in the last couple of storms here. The water, because the storm drains get overwhelmed, and excuse me for buttoning up a little bit because it's starting to rain as we're talking. The water comes through these backyards because the storm drain system simply gets overwhelmed here. So the goal in this particular yard is to get the water as it comes to go around the levee. Follow me. The gate is open so that the water can come out, and of course that dumps it into the street here. And what's across the street? More houses. That's Linda White's house over there. She also has set up boards and bricks and anything she can in hopes that her house could be protected in some way if they get this phenomena that they've been getting here with these heavy storms in Alexandria. So folks here have been watching this radar intensely. The storms have crossed to the south of us, which developed into the very serious situation over in Maryland. And storms have developed to the west of us and brushing by the metro area in that direction. So far, Alexandria has not been hit heavily, but this weather event is not over, so there are lots of people on guard and anxious here. And of course, the city is as well. They gave away sandbags yesterday. They've been cleaning out storm drains and all the rest of the things the municipality does to get ready for these events. And they are obviously concerned about the next couple days after this is over. The Potomac River is predicted to rise, and there may be problems on Alexandria's waterfront, but we'll get to that after the rain stops. Right now, they're just hoping this kind of rain is simply showers that move through and get out of here. We're watching the radar just like everybody else, and they're prepared to react quickly if things turn worse here. So that's the situation in Alexandria right now. This is Hancock Street, just to get you oriented. We're just a little bit uphill of Del Rey.
Yeah, I can't get over that setup in the backyard. I guess when you've been through this so many times and you've watched it, play out in your backyard, you kind of know what to expect.
Well, and there are lots of backyards like this.
Yeah.
I tell you what, the issue is that they've had these extreme storms. I mean, people are, Alexandria, it floods. People know that. The regular zones where it floods, they know that. But they've had these so-called 100-year storms 4 times, I believe, in the last 5 years. This is, as far as the city is concerned, not the historic norm at all. And the storm drain system is becoming overwhelmed because of it. So, yes, they're prepared, but they're prepared in a makeshift fashion in a lot of these neighborhoods.
Yeah, it's a reminder that as homeowners, a lot of times you have to come up with these really creative solutions to deal with Mother Nature. And you think of levees, you think of big systems in places like New Orleans, right? You don't think about having to actually build something similar to help you maintain your own home in Alexandria. And yet that's what we see happening in neighborhood after neighborhood. Yeah. You sure hope they get a break this time. They have had more than their share over the past 3 weeks. And we have been thinking about our friends and neighbors in Alexandria as they've dealt with issue after issue after issue after issue for the past few weeks.
And I thought our Scott Broom, we cut away from him for a second. I thought he was going to show us a bit more of how some of these neighbors. Right. There we go. We were back with you right now, Scott. I think you were just going to show us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Live TV. I was reacting. I was reacting as Leslie was talking because, you know, it's down to pieces of plywood, bags of mulch from Home Depot, some gravel, and this individual here, Mr. Jim Morgan, and his son Seamus have also set up a makeshift tube. All of this in an attempt to keep the water from getting down to the garage again, where they've lost thousands of dollars worth of stuff in 2 successive floods here in the last month. And this is one homeowner. There are lots and lots of people that have gone through this, and this is not to mention the vehicles that have been flooded on these streets. I've been unable to get a full accounting of the losses, but the numbers are big here in these last 2 storms, so a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, a lot of significant anxiety there. You know, when people talk about the hurricane season and the tornado season, they cringe in those parts of our area because it just seems like it's been constant and unrelenting. And so Chester and Topper both say that they're not off the hook for the rain, but it looks like they're probably out of the woods in terms of the tornadic activity. So hopefully, Scott, they won't be too battle tested out there today, but they are ready. And that, of course, is what we've been trying to get people to do. Be ready. You never know what can happen. And as Topper and Chester have said, these storms can pop up instantly, and you've got to react pretty quickly. So thank you, Scott, and all the best to the neighbors who have showed us their intricate setup. Let's hope it's not tested much more than it already has been today.
All right, and Chester, if you can show us what they're dealing with right now in Alexandria.
Yeah, we got
threats later on.
Big time rain. You saw that rain there from Scott's live report there. We're still dealing with a widespread area of rain across the metro, stretching up to the Frederick area. I'm over here.
Can you hear me? Mic check, mic check.
I hear someone's mic. I don't know if you guys can cut that.
Sorry, these are my
from Metro Washington up through the Frederick area, downpours here. We do have some possible flood warnings, some flood warnings still, flash flood warning till 5:30 in a good chunk of Frederick County, including the city of Frederick and up to the Thurmont area. And then we've got a flood warning still in the District of Columbia. It covers most of Northwest D.C. Probably a lot of that covers the Rock Creek corridor, as we've had some flooding issues along Rock Creek as well so far today. So again, this warning again in the Frederick County includes the city of Frederick. You guys are getting just a big time downpour right now, and up along 15 to the Thurmont area, and then east as well. So that's something we're going to be watching until 5:30 this evening here. Also, downpours stretch all the way down towards Brunswick and not far from Harper's Ferry at this time. A little bit wider view, you can see the wide view showing this band of rain that stretches from Frederick down through Washington and south down towards the Alexandria area and over towards Dale City and west of La Plata at this time. A little farther east, there's the downpour activity that we're seeing moving through Metro Washington. So I am showing you that track here, getting into Silver Spring and Fairland in the next 10 minutes or so, over to the Clinton area at 316, Laurel at 322, and Savage there at 327. And then this downpour from Shadyside and Anne Arundel County and over to Chesapeake Beach, finally moving offshore, which is great news because that was just a mess earlier. Again, another look at that line of storms moving into the Chesapeake right now, moving away from North Beach and out of Anne Arundel County, stretches all the way down through St. Mary's County. All right, we'll send it back over to you guys.
All right, Chester, thank you. We are, of course, staying on the air with breaking news, 3 o'clock straight up.